Welcome to the Metal Verbalizers podcast. We started this podcast because we want to support the great music and hardworking musicians of the underground, as well as being a place for you to discover new great music. If you enjoy Metal Verbalizers, your support would be very appreciated. If you would leave a like and a comment on this episode, that would really help us. And by us, I mean Metal Verbalizers and the bands we feature. Because if we get found by more people, the bands we feature will benefit from that as well. In this episode, you will hear an interview I made with some of the band's members. We talk about things such as the band's main influences, lyrical themes, as well as future plans, etc. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and this episode will be dedicated to the band Blackened Path. Okay, so we can start by having you introduce yourself a little bit. Also, if there's anything you would like to say before I start with the questions.
All right, yeah. So my name is Emil, and I'm the one who started the project back in 2022. I'm the bass player and the singer.
Yeah, my name is Fredrik. I play shared lead guitar with Matteo, who isn't here right now. But yeah, so I was joined in 2022 with Emil, and yeah.
And my name is James. I play the drums. I was the last person joining in. I joined like at the end of 2023 or something, if I remember correctly. And well, now I'm not. So yeah, nice playing a thrash band, I guess.
Right. So you mentioned that you were the one who started the project. So if I understand it correctly, Blackened Path was like a solo project from the beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
The project was created by me back in 2022 as a solo project. I worked as an officer in the Swedish Armed Forces, and at the time I was working and living way up north in a small town called Sollefteå. And there was literally no one to play music with, so yeah, it had to be a solo project.
It wasn't
And
like
then
an intentional choice from the beginning. It was more of like a necessity.
yeah, exactly. I had no
Right.
choice, but because there's literally no one living up there, so definitely no one who wants to play heavy metal, you know. So back in 2023, I moved back to Enköping in Uppland, and I was finally able to find the musicians to play with. And the first one I actually contacted when I moved back was my old friend Fredrik, who plays guitar.
Right.
We used to have another band like 10 years ago, so it was like a natural choice. Yeah.
Was that also a thrash metal band?
Yeah, we've played both thrash metal and heavy metal.
Right.
We had a couple of bands actually, so yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like a mix, I guess you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I would also like to ask you a little bit about what are some of your main influences for the band?
Well, our main influences would be like 80s thrash metal and heavy metal bands. I take a lot of inspiration from bands like Slayer, Testament, Dark Angel, Exodus, Creator, Judas Priest, and definitely early Sepultura stuff.
All right. So I guess we could also like talk a little bit in case you have like individual influences that you would like to mention.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys.
I have my influences, I should say. I'm more into a bit of more melodic stuff, actually, but I still want the speed. So I really like
Right.
playing double bass and stuff. From a thrash perspective, I listen a little bit more to Testament and Creator, I guess. But as a drummer, my influences is somewhere. Well, I guess I started playing drums because I heard Mike Portnoy and Joy Jordison. It is. Those two was my biggest
Right.
influences, and I guess with this knowledge, you may find those or the new on the new stuff that we're recording in a couple of months. So yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's a pretty cool thing as well, that you have like a lot of like very, very heavy, like even like extreme influences, but also like you're saying, like you're also very influenced by that kind of more classical bands like Judas Priest, like you mentioned, and also that kind of like more
Yeah.
melodic aspect. I think that's pretty cool, because if you have that kind of mix of influences and inspirations, it usually results in very cool sounds.
Yeah, and I think you will hear more about that in our next album, because
All right.
the first album is literally just my songs, actually.
Right.
And because I wrote them and when it still was a solo project.
I see.
Project.
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
that actually. So yeah.
Yeah.
How about Fredrik? Do you have any like individual influences that you would like to mention?
Like the last years, I would say that my influences have grown a bit like out of the metal community, like the thrash metal community. Like when I was younger, it was a lot of like Metallica, Slayer, and such that band. But today, I feel like I've been really like, especially when I write solos, I try to like think outside the box a bit and not go by the road that's very well traveled in the thrash metal community, which is a lot of like speed picking and thrashing and such. So today I draw a lot of inspirations from like Rage Against the Machine. Tom Morello, I think, is a really cool guitarist. I've also listened to Seal and Ardor a lot, like the
Right.
past times, which is in a completely different direction. But
Yeah.
you still have these classic thrash metal influences and a lot of punk as well, like post punk. And a lot of speed punk. I listened to a lot of NoFX and Offsprings and such when I was younger, which also influences a bit in how I write rhythm riffs today. But I try to make them like a bit on the harder side, since this is a metal project, but still maintain that kind of like melodic ambiguity in it, and like
Yeah.
maybe not lean too much into like the like pure like hard evil sounding. It depends on the song very much.
Yeah.
But
I
like
think I understand what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, I would also like to talk a little bit. How do you want to like visualize the music? And with that, I mean things like, for example, album art, or like how the logo looks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, well, of course, our logo had to be pointy and sharp and dangerous, as a thrash metal logo should look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and our artwork is, pretty much a visual version of our lyrics content. So there's no more to that. Although it can't be any fucking AI artwork, It has to be real. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
has
see.
to be real.
Yeah.
You need the human factor. I mean, this AI thing is changing our lives quite a bit nowadays. So, but we really do think that we need the human factor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. I mean,
I
I think
think it's
that's also
also
like a very, very big part of like metal in general. That kind of like honest and genuine part of it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Fredrik, you were gonna say something.
Like also with AI art, I feel like the quality of it isn't really up to speed yet. Like often when you generate AI art, you get like it's hard to get to that point of quality that often is required when you do professional work. It's fun to mess around with and such, and you can get okay results. But if you really want that like high-end quality factor of it, you often have to have a human touch to it.
Yeah, I think it's also like a kind of classic example that I've heard of is like hands and like fingers, like AI images.
Watches as well. I've heard that like if you tell the AI like portray a watch that tells the time it's 6 o'clock, it's still gonna be like 10 past 10 because that's like all watches.
I don't think I've heard about that one actually. I've heard about the fingers, but I actually haven't heard about that before. But that's pretty interesting as well. But yeah, I would also like to ask you a little bit about if you can like explain your lyrical themes and like the themes that you write about.
Yeah, of course. Most of my lyrics is about the only thing that all of us have in common, I guess, and all of us can relate to, and that's death. We're all gonna die, right?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So, and I also write a lot about my experiences and things that I've learned during tough military exercises. So
I see. And I guess that kind of comes back a little bit to the kind of like visual part of it as well. You know, with like the album art with the Grim Reaper and the tombstones.
Yeah, that's pretty much death.
Yeah. So it kind of like ties together with the lyrics in that sense, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
So yeah, you mentioned the an upcoming album that you have. Are you going to like further explore that subject on the next album as well, or are you going to explore some new topics on that one?
I would say lyrics-wise, the content will be pretty similar.
All right.
But the music will be a little different, I think. Definitely more technical and more advanced. If I can say that.
All right. So yeah, it was kind of like we discussed a little bit earlier with when we talked about like the kind of aggressive sound compared to like the or mixed together rather with like the melodic side. So that's a little bit of the difference, right?
Yeah, you can say that. At least, all of us are gonna have something to say in the songs compared to the first album, Existence Omega. There, it pretty much was only me who wrote the songs. Fredrik, he did his solos and stuff like that, and Timmy as well. But the songs was pretty much me.
Right.
This time it ain't gonna be like that.
Okay.
And it is actually a really nice experience writing stuff with a lot of people and not just executing something someone else giving you. I really do like collaborating when we are creating something. My way with the drums, at least, the way I do like to create rhythms. I think my procedure is quite. I really try to keep in touch with my feelings. What is the feeling that I get when I'm hearing that melody? How do that make me feel? And I try to translate that to rhythms. And that's why, well, Emil said that you're going to listen a kind of difference. I think that the difference is quite big, I guess. yes, not because it's advanced or because it's technical or that stuff. I think that we can play our instruments actually, but no more than that. I really do think that's going to be a lot more an emotional experience, if I could say
Yeah.
so.
I see. I think I understand what you mean. That idea of like playing someone else's music compared to like playing your own created music. I can imagine that there is quite a difference there.
Still, I was joining the band after the first CD and the first album, and I could say that finding a band was actually quite a challenge. I don't know, the other guys can attest that if they want, but the thing is that nowadays everyone writing the music and they're feeling quite um, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, quite badly when someone else comes in and try to change that.
All right.
I hate that. So when I tried to contact other bands, I was like, okay, can we work with each other? How are we with working with each other? How is our collaborations and everything? Do we like each other? That's also a big thing.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that's why actually I joined this band. I'm not a big thrash guy, as I said, but I fell in love with the guys, and we really working quite good together. So that was a big thing for me.
Sounds great. Well, I've basically one question left, and that is, what are your plans for the future? You mentioned the upcoming album. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about that, but is there anything else you have in store for the future?
Right now we're actually focusing on just writing the new album. And at the same time, of course, we're gonna have some gigs. The one who is official at the moment is April 12th. We play in our hometown Uppsala at Femman. It's like a small, very punky like
All right.
place. Yeah, it's an event called Black Mass Metal Gathering, and we're a couple other bands who's playing also. So it's gonna be cool.
Right. Sounds great. So I would also like to kind of ask you about the upcoming album. Do you have any like idea when that might be released? Is it going to be this year or next year, or do you have any idea?
Yeah,
That's
it
a
will
million dollar question.
Yeah, I don't know actually. We're gonna start recording this summer. So maybe it's released the late fall. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it will be released this year. Late fall, winter, maybe.
All
It
right.
depends.
Sounds great. Definitely looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks so much.
Well, I guess, is there anything else that you would like to talk about or say that we haven't discussed so far?
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
Oh, I
How
don't
about
think
you
so.
guys?
No, not really.
I don't feel like we missed anything really either.
Right. So yeah, I think we have had a really great talk as well.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. It's my pleasure.
We're looking
But yeah,
looking forward meeting you out on the gigs. And,
yeah, definitely, that would be great.
Everyone, you're welcome, and we really hope that we're having a nice time listening to our music.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, if you guys don't have anything more, I guess we could wrap it up here. I of course want to thank you so much for taking the time to make this episode with us. So yeah, obviously I wish you all the luck, and thank you very much.
Thank you, dude.
Great. Thanks. You too. Thanks.
Take care.
Take care. And that's the end of our interview. We want to thank Blackened Path for this great interview and taking the time to talk to us. But now we want to know your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about Blackened Path? Maybe you have a favorite song by this band. If so, which one? Let us know in the YouTube comments or on social media. Again, we could really use your support. If you like and comment, that would be really helpful and greatly appreciated. If you really like what we do at Verbalizers, also consider following us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook and Instagram. That would also help a lot. As well as spreading the word and mentioning Verbalizers to people that you think might be interested. That would be a huge help. Thank you. It means a lot to us that you've been listening all the way to the end. We really appreciate that. We will be back to verbalize again next week.